Namaste everyone, welcome to Advaita Vedanta Satsang House. The ongoing sessions are on Bhagavad Gita from an Advaita perspective offered by Bindoji. Chapter 4, the replays of the previous rooms are available in Clubhouse, or you can access them in the links shared in the chat. One is a YouTube channel, Advaita Retold, where you can access them in a well-arranged series. There are also channels available on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And also there is a book written by Artemisia based on Bindoji's insights into Advaita. The title of the book is The Imaginary Door, published through Amazon. The links are shared there. I'll close the chat and hand raising when Bindoji is conducting the class, which will last for about an hour, after which we'll open up the channels for any questions and answers. As always, thank you, Bindoji. Over to you.
Thank you, Prakash. Namaste and Hari Om to all of you. Let me do my invocation. Om Namo Brahma Dibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vivagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The Gita Dhyana Slokam. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvandi Divyaistavai Vedai Sangapadakramo Vanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgadena Manasa Pasyanti Yam Yogino Yasyandam Navidussura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Evam Jnatva Kritam Karma Purvairavi Mumukshubhihi Kuru Karmaiva Tasmatvam Purvai Purvadaram Kritam. The 15th verse is what we have completed in the last class. Shankaracharya explained that even ancient seekers of liberation performed actions after understanding the nature of the self. Therefore, O Arjuna, you should also act. If he is not yet realized, action will purify his mind, and if he is realized, action will serve the welfare of the world, as exemplified by King Janaka and other ancient sages. Tatra karmam chet kartavyam tvad vachanadeva karomyaham kim visheshatena purvaihi purvataram kritam ityuchyate yasmat mahat vaishamyam karmani katam. So there is a context under which the next verse is going to be taken up. Up to the 14th verse, the Avatara Kartrutva Prakarana with the indirect imperative Tasmat Tvam Kuru Karma Eva. Therefore you must act. But this imperative immediately generates a profound question. What exactly is karma? Tvam Kuru Karma Eva. You have to act. Tasmat, therefore. So there is conditions under which Krishna is advising Arjuna that you have to perform karma. So the profound question, which is exactly what is karma, if evam jnatva, having known the akartrutva truth, transforms the nature of action, then clearly karma is not a simple self-evident category. Evam Jnatva was the way in which the verse started, the 15th verse. So, Evam Jnatva means having understood or having known the truth, which is that Jnanam is about the akartrutva, non-doership. Then that changes the entire equation or the nature of the action itself. Therefore, the karma cannot be a simple karma which we are thinking from our ordinary perspective. The verse next, 16, is really taking this question for answering and names this difficulty explicitly. Even the kavis, kavayaha is the word used there. Kavi means the wise ones or the poet or the seers are mohitaha. They are deluded or confused or confounded about karma and akarma. And then Krishna makes a solemn promise. Tatte karma pravakshyami. I shall declare to you that karma, knowing which it will liberate you from Ashubha. Ashubha means inauspicious, evil or samsara. Therefore, for Shankaracharya, this formal opening of Karma Vichara Prakarana, that means the discussion or the thesis into the nature of karma, which is from the 16th to the 23rd verse, is a systematic inquiry into the true nature of action, inaction, and prohibited action. Karma, akarma, vikarma. That will culminate in the Jnana Karma Yoga, a synthesis of knowledge, action, and yoga. The verse performs the dual function. It does as a diagnostic as well as a promissory. In the form of a diagnostic function, naming the confusion, moha, that pervades even the wise while understanding what is the nature of karma. Whereas the promissory function of this verse is that it is making an explicit commitment. Pravakshami means I am promising you to resolve that confusion with a teaching whose fruit of knowledge is the liberation from Ashubha or from the mundane life or the cycle of birth and death. The structure of the promise, Yat Jnatva Mokshase Ashubhad, is what Krishna promises, knowing which you will be redeemed from the Ashubha, means the negatives. Immediately establishes the soteriological stakes. It is not an academic taxonomy of action, but that jnana which liberates. Therefore, the karma vichara beginning in this verse is directly continuous with the tattva jnana, which was mentioned earlier in the 9th verse, where he said that Yat Jnatva na punarjanma, knowing which there is no punarjanma. And again he said on the 14th verse, Abhijanadi na badhyate, whoever knows this is not bound by the samsara. The same liberating jnana now applied specifically to the understanding with the nature of the karma is what is going to start from this verse till the 23rd verse. Kim karma kimakarmeti kavayo atra mohitaha. Tatte karmam pravikshami yatnyatva mokshase ashubhat. The 16th verse. We'll break down each of the word. Kim is an interrogative pronoun. What? Karma, action. So, what is action? Kim karma. Kim akarmeti. Again, what is inaction or non-action? Iti means about this. Kavayaha. Actually, there is a detailed commentary from Shankaracharya on this. We will see that. But for the time, Kavayaha, Kavi means a poet actually. The most popular meaning. But Kavi in the Upanishad, they refer them to the seers, mantra drishta or driya drishtas. They are called Kavayaha or the wise ones. Kavaya api atra mohitaha. Even the wise ones, api means even the wise ones, atra mohitaha. Atra means in this manner, in this matter, particular matter, or in reference to this, which is the action and inaction. Mohitaha means confused, deluded, bewildered, confounded, etc. Then the next line is tatte karma pravikshami. Tat, that means it is demonstrative, referring to forward to what will be declared from 17th verse to the 23rd verse. Te means to you. Karma pravikshami. I will explain, declare to you, or I'll expound to you what is the nature of action, inaction, and opposite action. Yet jnatva, knowing which, or having known which, ashubhat mokshase, from the evil, from the samsara, or from the inauspicious things, you will be liberated, or you will be freed. So, as said earlierly, one is the definition of karma. It is very confounding. Even the wise people are confused about when it comes to the nature of karma. So what to talk about ordinary people like us? But Krishna is giving a promise to the disciple Arjuna. Te pravikshami, I am going to expound it to you. Yat jnatva, knowing which, ashvat mokshase, you will be redeemed or freed from the inauspicious or evil or the samsara's clutch on you. So, there are two words, karma and akarma. What is an akarma? Akarma actually is a negative word. 9 is a compound word between non plus action. That is inaction or non-action. But in the Advaitic context, this is far from simple negation of karma and has a technical sense that will be fully disclosed in the 17th and 18th verse. You can imagine Krishna is spending 2 verses to explain what is non-action. At the Vyavaharika level or in the transactional level, akarma is abstaining from action or remaining inactive. Nishkriyata. But at the same time, the Paramarthika level, from the absolute, akarma is the recognition of akartrutva. It is not an inaction, but it's a identification with the non-doership while in action. So the state in which Atman is known as the non-doer or the non-doership in Atman, so that even while the body acts, the Pratyagatma or the self in us is in akarma or non-doership. Therefore, the actionless ground underlying all apparent action is the meaning in the Paramarthika level, on the absolute level. The confusion, moha, kavayo atra moha, is about karma and akarma arises precisely from this two-level structure, from the Vyavaharika level and the Paramarthika level. At the Vyavaharika level, acting appears to be karma and not acting appears to be akarma. The ordinary parlance. And at the Paramarthika level, the situation is inverted or transcended. In the 18th verse, it will state that karmani akarmaya yap pasyet. He who sees akarma in karma. Now this 18th verse will ring a bell to all those who are remembering our previous thing. Ya nisha sarva bhutani. That night which is for everyone. For the wise, it is day. And for the day of the ordinary people is the night for the wise. Here in the case of karma also it is coming like that. The 18th verse, when we go there, we will see that. Iti mohitaha is the word used. That iti means what is karma and what is akarma. Wondering thus is the content of the moha. It is the question itself. Kim karma, kim akarma. What is the karma, what is akarma? Or what is that is the locus of confusion. Even the wise are confused by the very question. It is not by some extraneous difficulty, but to understand what is karma and what is akarma. The fundamental problematic that Shankaracharya will spend in resolving will be through the explanations of the verses between 16 to 23. He identifies three levels of confusion for this. One level of confusion, or the basic first level confusion, is among the Mimamsakas, or those who are ritualistic in nature. For them, karma is a ritual action prescribed by the Shruti, which includes Nitya, Naimittika, Kamya. Nitya means what is to be done daily. Naimittika means which is a action born out of a cause. Nimitta means cause. A cause triggers an action, not a daily routine thing. Then there is a Kamya karma. Kamya means which is prompted by the desires. And in the akarma category, for these ritualistic people, Nishiddha, karma and virama, abstention from prohibited action is what is they call as akarma. That Nishiddha karma virama. Nishiddha karma means prohibited action. Virama means abstention, abstaining from that. This is the technically correct meaning at the Mimamsa level. But they miss a deeper Advaitic meaning entirely, because karma is not only at the ritualistic level. Every karma is to be included. Therefore, there is a level 2 of confusion. The popular confusion of karma means any intentional physical activity. there is a volition to it. Even the rituals are volitional. So, the popular confusion is between this, that actions which are being done due to volition or will, it is intentional and physical in nature. And what is the akarma in the case of that? Is the physical stillness or quietude or withdrawal or remaining inactive. Intentional physical becomes non-intentional physical inactivity. This identification appearance of activity karma and appearance of inactivity akarma is precisely what the 18th verse will subvert. Karmani akarma yap pasyet akarmani cha karma yaha. Who sees karma in akarma and akarma in karma. This is the ordinary meaning of karma we all know, because we are not into the ritualistic karmas. But then there is the third level which is Krishna is talking about. Tatra kavayo atra mohitaha. That even the kavayas, means even the wise people who have intellectual access to the Shastra, even they are deluded by this question. Because the true nature of karma requires the paramarthika standpoint or the standpoint from the absolute point to fully comprehend that. And even intellectually sophisticated people who know the Shastras may remain at a transactional level of analysis. Therefore, they get confused. The word kavayaha, one of the most richly layered word in Sanskrit, because it has got the three levels in the same word is being used. The primary meaning of the word is poet, one who sees, to sound or to describe, is what the word kavi means. And in the Vedic literature, kavi means seer, sage, one of the profound with inner vision. The rishis who saw, drishta, mantra drishtas, all called kavayaha. But in the philosophical sense, he is called a kranta drishti, one who sees beyond the ordinary appearance. Darshi means seer. Kranta means beyond the ordinary, who has a penetrating insight to look beyond. So in the Advaitic usage, Kavi is the intellectually and spiritually sophisticated person who have studied Shastra, who have methas, means intellectual acumen, who possesses prajna, the wisdom of the Absolute. And the word stands here higher than Pandita. He is not mere scholar. He is very close to the Jnani himself. Yet, even these are declared as confused when it comes to what is karma and akarma. So what type of a confusion is that? Caused to be confused. Mohita means made to be deluded. Something is making them deluded, even with all this knowledge, wise, acumen, and all those things. There is a causative word. This word mohita means is a causative word. It's not merely deluded, mugdha, but implies an external cause for the confusion. The word themselves is known. They are all masters in language and usage and dictionary and all those details. But when it comes to explaining what is karma, akarma, vikarma, etc., there is an external cause for confusion. Something about the question of karma, akarma itself, which actually produces the confusion. And what is that cause? Shankaracharya says that the inherent two-level structure of karma, its vyavaharika appearance and the paramarthika reality, that is the transactional appearance of action and the absolute reality which cannot be disentangled without tattvajnana of akartrutva. This appearance at the transactional level, but reality at the absolute level, which is always in an entangled state, cannot be disengaged without the truth being known of the what is the non-doership. So the kavayoho api mohitaha, even the kavis are confused when it is said. It establishes the difficulty of the question while simultaneously motivating the need for an authoritative clarification from a knower of truth or Paramatma himself. Here Krishna stands for that. So atra mohitaha is the word used. Atra means here or in this manner, in this matter, referring specifically to the question kim karma, kim akarma, what is action, what is non-action. The atra localizes the confusion in this matter. The kavis are not confused about everything. They are specifically confused about the question when it comes to karma and akarma. They may have the knowledge of Atman, Brahman and all those things. Shastra knowledge, explanation, language, grammar, everything they will be knowing. But when it comes to explaining what is karma and akarma, they may get confused because of the entanglement between the transactional and the reality. Therefore, this precision is philosophically important. The confusion is targeted, not general, pointing to a specific conceptual knot between the paramarthika and vyavaharika, absolute and the transactional. That requires declutter. Kavayopi atra mohitaha establishes what Shankaracharya calls as epistemological occasion. Jitnyasa nimitta, a cause due to knowledge, in interest to know that reality. For the karma vichara that follows, why are even kavis confused? Because there is a multi-layered confusion. First reason why they are confused is the question kim karma, kim akarma appears grammatically simple. What is action, what is non-action or inaction? But conceals a radical philosophical depth. At the surface level, anyone can distinguish between physical activity, which is called action, and from physical stillness or as inaction. So there is no confusion in that case. But at the level of Advaitic Swarupa Vichara, or when we discuss about the nature of the individual who is involved in the action, his nature, that is what the Advaitic Swarupa Vichara is referring to. The question becomes, what constitutes the true karma, action that binds the person, vis-a-vis the true akarma, the akarta in the Atma's essential actionlessness. When he says that, Krishna said that, Tasya kartaram apimam, vidhi akartaram avyayam. When he mentioned that the Atma's essential actionlessness is the akartrutva. This depth is not accessible without Tattvajnana. Therefore, even the Kavis with the Vyavaharika wisdom are confused about it. Then there is a second layer. Karma has multiple senses. Anekartha, operating simultaneously at multiple levels. Karma as a ritual injunction with the Mimamsa sense is Nitya Karma, one must perform. And karma as an causal action, Naimittika, producing phala through Apurva. This is again coming under the ritualistic. Then karma as a phenomenal action, any movement of body, mind, intellect, etc. That is a phenomenal action. And then there is a karma which has got a binding action. Action generating tendencies and vasanas, which is called samskara. Through kartrutva abhimana, with the egoship, doership, ego doership. And there is an interplay of all these things simultaneously. So which karma is what? When to know which karma is in operation, which karma, akarma is in operation, which vikarma is what is going to create problem, all those are really confusing even to those who are wise. So there is the interplay of these multiple senses is in the Anekartha sense, Mimamika sense, then called the Nimitta sense, Naimittika sense, etc. Without the discriminating touchstone of Akartrutva Jnana, will definitely produce the confusion. So the touchstone to decipher or declutter this confusion is the knowledge of non-doership, Akartrutva. The Kavis who are expert in one sense may be unaware of other senses. Therefore, they are all mohita. But don't worry. Krishna is promising. I shall expound or I shall pronounce authoritatively. Pravakshyami. Pra is a prefix to indicate completely or with full authority. To declare authoritatively or to expound fully, to pronounce definitively. And it is a futuristic statement or future tense. Pravikshami, I shall declare. A solemn promise by Krishna himself, Pratiknya. It is not a mere statement. A future tense creates anticipation and therefore signals that what is going to follow. He didn't start that, but when he mentioned that Pravikshami is to generate the interest in the listener and get him attentive. Therefore, verse 17 through 23 is the formal fulfillment of this promise by Krishna. Therefore, the combination of pra and pravikshami the pratiknya, the most solemn form of teaching commitment available in Sanskrit. A pratiknya vakya, promissory statement that a guru is bound to fulfill. Shishyasteham shadimam prapannam. Arjuna has taken refuge under Krishna, saying that I have become your disciple. You have to save me. So it is bound that the Guru Krishna has to do the teaching with this solemn promise to take him out of this delusion. Tat karma, that action or that karma, refers to forward, which I am going to explain. Tat karma. Tat te pravikshami. It is what he says, that tat means like tattvamasi, that which is going to be explained. Tat satyam tattvamasi shvetaketo. In the Chandogya, he says that. Here he says, tat te pravikshami. That I shall declare to you, that I shall expound to you, that I shall explain to you in detail. Is a formal pratiknya or a promise structure marking the solemn opening of a new teaching section. Till now he had done the avatara and the akartritva. Now he is going to get into a karma prakarana or a teaching section about karmas. It appears in similar form in the Upanishad when he said that tattvamasi, that you are. Here also tatte vidasyami, I shall declare you, is in the Chandogya Upanishad. These are all such Upanishadic way in which this is being promised by Krishna here also. Tatte karma pravikshami, the formal pratiknya of the karma vichara prakarana which is going to start. The word that, tat, is deliberately demonstrative of the forward pointing to the teaching about to be given, which is not yet disclosed. Therefore, this creates a pedagogical tension of a pratiknya. The student knows that something important is going to come up, which is not yet what has been told. It's a state of heightened receptivity, which Shankaracharya says that it's optimal for Shravana. The attentiveness from Arjuna to know the confusion that can be removed will make him an apt student ready for Shravana. So the pravikshami, future, as a future tense, also performs a rhetorical function. By committing to future disclosure, Krishna implicitly acknowledges that what he is about to say cannot be compressed into a single statement. It requires the extended exposition, 17 through 23 verses. The future tense thus signals that there are multi-verse scope what follows. Tat karma refers not merely to that karma. Here that in this tat karma is indicating towards a concept. As a concept, that karma which liberates means it is the concept of karma which you should understand in full detail. When known fully, will make you a liberated soul. The specific understanding of karma that when attained produces a phala stated in the next pada. that is the karma about to be explained, is the karma of a Jivan Mukta. The karma evam jnatva, which was mentioned in the 15th verse. In the 16th verse, karmani akarmaya pasyet is what is going to be mentioned in the 18th verse. So there is nature of karma which will be initiated. And what does this karma do? Mokshase, you shall be liberated, or you will be liberated. It's a passive future usage and philosophically significant. The passive voice is liberation is not something Arjuna does. It is something what happens to him, or rather when is revealed as his natural state upon the rising of knowledge. The passive encodes the Advaitic principle. Moksha is not an upadhya. Utpadhya means not upadhya, upadhya. It is not an effect of a production or a produced effort, but an avirbhava, as a revealed status which is already present. Therefore, mokshase, you shall be released, is the obstacles of ignorance, ashubha, shall be removed, revealing the nitya mukta atman, which is your true nature. But it's also a future tense. It's a passive voice in future tense, mokshase, which is certain future. It is about certain about. Not that you might be liberated, but you shall certainly be liberated. It's a guarantee from Parameshwara Krishna to Arjuna himself. And from what? Ashubhat. Liberated from Ashubha means, what specifically is Ashubha here? Shankaracharya identifies this hierarchy reference in the 3 levels. Level 1 is the Vyavaharika level. Ashubha is Papa, sin or demerit, a bad karma, the inauspicious results of ignorant action, or the ordinary moral meaning of Ashubha. Level 2 is the Adhyatmika level, where the word Ashubha is equal to karma bandha. The entire mechanism of karma, samskara, punarjanma that constitute the samsaric bondage, as explained in the 14th verse. Karma bhi na badhyate. Actions do not bind you. What are that actions which will not bind you is to be known. But at the level 3 is the Paramarthika level. The Ashubha is avidya itself. The primordial Mula avidya, Mula Ashubha, is the root of all samsara, adhyasa, all bandha, all Ashubha at every level. So mokshase Ashubha, when Krishna says, it is the liberation from avidya, which is the moksha in its fullest Advaitic sense. Starting from the level 1 to level 2 to level 3, mirrors the progression of Gita's teaching itself. From avoid bad karma to escape karma bandha and to be freed from avidya itself. This verse has a usage of yat tat. Yat means that which. Tat means that. So, tatte karma pravishyami yat karma yat jnatva mokshase ashubhat. I shall declare you that karma, knowing which you shall be liberated from the Ashubha. So tat, yat, yat tat. Yat means which, tat means that. So that karma which liberates. So yat jnatva mokshase ashubhat is a promissory Falashruti of Karma Vichara Prakarana, which is going to be from 17th to 23rd verse. Analogous to the Falashruti of 9th verse, Yat Jnatva na punarjanma. In the 9th verse, Krishna had said, because Avatara Prakarana entered there. The structural is a parallel deliberate here also. In the 9th verse, he said, Janma karma cha me divyam yat yo veti tattvataha na punarjanma. So the yo veti means one who knows tattvataha in the truth. For him there is no punarjanma. Then he said about the avatara prakarana. There also he said that yat jnatva. So avatara prakarana also he said that tattvataha. In the 16th verse, tatte karma pravishyami yat jnatva mokshase ashubhat. Here also. Both the promise, liberation through jnana, 9th verse through the knowing of Parameshwara's jnana karma as divyam, and in the 16th verse through knowing the true nature of karma and akarma, together they form a double guarantee by Krishna. The avatar jnana and the karma jnana are the two aspects of the same liberating recognition. Both dissolve the kartrutva adhyasa, the superimposition that I am the doer, the body, mind, intellect association coming from the ignorance, and that drives the samsara. Both lead to karma bhihi na badhyate. When we know the reality as promised by Krishna, will lead to no bondage by karma and no punarjanma, no rebirth. Shankaracharya says the Ashubha is samsara here in this verse. The entire cycle conditioned existence rooted in avidya. Mokshase Ashubhat means samsarat mokshase. You shall be liberated from the samsara. The ultimate prayojana of Gita's teaching. The word Ashubha is used rather than dukkha, suffering, or bandha, or bondage, because it captures the ontology of purity, impurity, mala, of avidya-driven existence. So avidya-driven existence is the Ashubha here, as the absence of the Shubha, which is Brahman. Brahman is Shubham, auspicious, Mangalam. Therefore, Brahman itself, in many Upanishadic contexts, moksha from Ashubha, means revelation of the Shubham, Atman, as one's own Swarupa. The removal of Ashubha of the Anatman superimposition, revealing the Nitya Shubha of Satchidananda. So the first line, Kim karma kima karmeti atra kavayo api mohitaha santi. Even the kavis are confused here, wondering what is karma and what is akarma. And the second line, Tat karma te pravikshami yat jnatva ashubhat mokshase. I shall declare to you that karma, knowing which you shall be liberated from the ashubha. There is a logical relationship between these two lines. Line 1 establishes the difficulty. Even kavis are confused, motivating the need for authoritative teaching. Only one who knows the reality of karma, karma, vikarma can teach this. Not people who are confused. They may be knowing the Shastras well. The second line provides the promise, I shall declare, and also stakes the liberation from Ashubha, establishing the teacher's authority and purpose. So if you look at this two verses, two lines, first line and second line, the verse functions as a formal Anubandha Chatushtaya, the fourfold connection for a literature or for a thesis. Here the Vishaya is karma and akarma. Prayojana is moksha from Ashubha. And the Adhikari, qualified student, implicitly mumukshu like Arjuna, who wants to know what is the difference between karma and akarma. And what is the sambandha, the connection between the teaching and the student. Knowing this karma, moksha say, the direct instrumental connection between the teaching and its fruit of liberation. So, the deepest analysis why even Kavis are mohit as the two levels of structure of karma, that Vyavahara level and the Paramarthika level. The moha arises because these two are intersecting every moment of our life. What is a Paramarthika level and what is the Vyavaharika level? There is no Vyavaharika level without the Paramarthika level. So when Paramarthika level is the basis on which the apparent Vyavaharika level action is being seen, the confusion arises because of the intersection. So what constitutes the bandha, which is generating the action? Which action is generating? The Paramarthika one or the Vyavaharika one? The category has to be broken down. For at the Paramarthika level, the apparent akarma, the physical stillness with kartrutva abhimana is equal to the true karma generating bandha. So the bandhana or the bondage is kartrutva abhimana and the physical stillness akarma, not karma. Karma, when it is done, we can convert it into yoga. But when it is akarma or the physical inactivity, at the same time there is a abhimana or the ego that kartrutva, I am the doer who is doing the inactivity. I want to stay inactive because that is what is required. Sitting in a meditation pose but mentally active. Mithyachara savuchyate. He is called a hypocrite in the earlier verses. And there is also apparent karma, physical activity without kartrutva abhimana. Listen carefully. Physical activity of karma, but without kartrutva abhimana. In the first one is physical stillness, inactivity with kartrutva abhimana, which is the bondage. In the second case is a karma without kartrutva abhimana. It is the true akarma which is bondage free, bandha free. Both are apparent in nature from the Paramarthika level. They are not real. There is no akartaram. Vidhi akartaram avyayam. So the words have to be understood with connection to the previous verse. Krishna said that Yo veti vam tattvataha, one who knows me really as akartaram, avyayam. Therefore, at the Paramarthika level, he is non-doer. But there is an apparent akarma and apparent karma which is happening at the Vyavahara level, but from the Paramarthika level, one will become a bondage, one will make you free. This inversion, which the 18th verse will state directly, is the source of the confusion the Kavis are confused about. It cannot be resolved by Vyavahara analysis alone. It requires the Advaitic standpoint of Akartrutva Jnana, Yo Veti Tattvataha, which was established in the 13th and 14th verse. So please revise the 13th and 14th verse correctly before going forward from the next verses 17 to 23rd. Then only the knowledge will become embedded in us. So Jijnasa Janana, generating an inquiry in our mind. Shankaracharya reads the 16th verse as performing the classical Vedantic function of Jijnasa Janana, generating the desire to know in the student by establishing the difficulty which even the Kavis are confused about, makes that this is not a simple subject for me to casually listen to. At the same time, there is a promising resolution by the Guru himself, the Jagat Guru himself, I, Parameshwara himself, shall declare it. It is authoritative and it is not something which is new. I have taught this Avyaya Yoga to Vivaswan, Ikshaku, Manu, etc. And stating the phala, knowing this liberates from Ashubha. This is the supremely worth knowing subject where you need all attention to it. So all these three put together produces the maximum receptiveness and the desire to hear in anybody. Here it is Arjuna. The verse is in effect a pedagogical setup for the profound teaching which is going to come from 17th through 23rd, ensuring that the student approaches with a optimal combination of humility, receptivity and motivation. Humility, recognizing one's own potential for confusion. Receptivity to the authoritative teacher. So I have to listen with all my ears. And what is the motivation? Phala of moksha from Ashubha. The freedom from the confusion or the freedom from the birth and death, etc. So authoritative Nitya Guru Krishna says, Pravishyami, the future I shall declare, combined in the subject. So Parameshwara is going to speak to all of us. He is saying in the first person itself, Aham Pravishyami. The maximum plausible claim for a teaching authority. And who is this teacher? The one in the first verse itself declared, Aham Proktavan, at the beginning of creation of time itself. The one who, Ajobi son, Avyayatma of the 6th verse, the one who is Akarta Avyaya, who has said that in the 13th verse, is the Jagat Guru or the utmost authority, the eternal sovereign birthless Nitya Guru. And when this Parameshwara says, Pravikshami, I shall teach you, he is not merely promising an intellectual explanation. He is promising the self-disclosure of the Avyaya Atman. That alone constitutes the Karma Jnana. The teaching he is about to give from 17 to 23 verse is not his opinion about karma, but his revelation, a self-revelation from Krishna as the Akarta who knows he is an Akarta and who underlies all karma, and the Sakshi who is the witness, presence for all karma by everyone occurs without, that is touching the Atman, and when he is talking about it is touching this Atman of all of us. The Ashubha which mokshas Ashubha is the avidya itself. It is a complete liberation from the Mula avidya. The knowledge that karma vichara will disclose is therefore identical in depth to the Tattvajnana, the recognition of Atman as Akarta Avyaya, and unstained by karma, without phalaspriha. That recognition, now approached through the specific lens of karma's nature, is the jnana that liberates from Ashubha. And this verse is the link between the Purva Prakarana, which is the Avatara Prakarana, to the forward Prakarana, which is going to come about the Karma Prakarana. So it closes the Avatara Akartrutva Prakarana and opens the Karma Vichara Prakarana. And also, there is an anticipation of the Yajna Prakarana, which is going to be from 24th to 33rd verse, followed by Jnana Yoga Prakarana, which is the final 10 verses of 33 to 42. By establishing moksha from Ashubha as the unifying prayojana of all three prakaranas put together, therefore the fourth chapter by itself is a summation of all prakaranas put together. Avatara Akritvit Prakarana, Karma Vichara Prakarana, Yajna Prakarana, Jnana Yoga Prakarana. So all these things are embedded together in one chapter called the fourth chapter. So the fourth chapter is an elaboration of all those things. Karma of Jivan Mukta, who sees akarma in karma, performs all action of yajna, and abides in jnana as the supreme purifier. We will continue this verse with the Shankara's Bhashya is pending. So we will see that on the Mondays when we discuss the closing words of this chapter, this verse, particular verse. Because this verse is so important because that is the one where it hinges between the truth about the Paramatma, Krishna, which he said that I am the one who told this to Vivaswan, Mumukshwagu, etc. And then he declared himself as the Akarta, non-doer, and Avyaya. And why he has taken avatara, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, etc. He has mentioned that. That is the reality of the Akarta as a teacher. And that teacher is now going to teach us how to do karma in our empirical world with the knowledge of yajna and with the knowledge of jnana, which will liberate us and we can still be in action. Like he said that, Varte evacha karmani, Trishu lokeshu kinjana nanamaptam amaptavim, Varte evacha karmani. He is in action in this world, all the three worlds, where there is nothing to be achieved or nothing not yet achieved. Yet, I appear to be in action. That, how he is doing, will be known when we complete this chapter. Let us continue that on Monday. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyawad.
Thank you very much, Bindoji. I've opened the chat and hand raising. If there are any follow-up questions or discussions. As Bindoji pointed, this topic is very deep. It's the core. I think I feel my feeling is this is the core of the pedagogy, pointing towards moksha, right, Bindoji?
Yes. Normally, fourth chapter is not taken up seriously by those who are studying Gita. They think second chapter is the most important chapter. But for practical life, in a state of total ignorance, when we want to know the reality and the truth and how to elevate ourselves and become free, the fourth chapter is the solution for it. Thank you all. I think we'll meet on Monday then. Oh, Patrick is there.
Patrick's coming up.
Yes, Patrick. Hari Om.
Namaste, Hari Om. Since Srini didn't come up, I thought I would. I want to ask this question, but I'm a little reluctant.
You can ask. Srini will come up. No problem.
Yeah, we've got a nice ongoing discussion, and this is beautiful. The way that you've presented Chapter 4 is normally, not so invigorating, but this is really nice. But I just wanted to point out the words, obviously can't quite, reach it. We're trying to model, something, but when you use the phrase paramatika level and vyavaharika level, you recognize how awkward that language is. Do you see how awkward it is in the sense that it creates this notion of duality? So could you?
Yes.
So I'm saying this with respect. So do you have? You recognize the awkward nature of it, but how do you reconcile that when we know that there is, there's no nirguna, and there's really no vyavaharika level that you speak of. It's only that one. So how do you reconcile that?
That recognition, you will know it, Patrick, without any problem. When we complete this chapter, you will be having that answer for yourself. But for the time being, I can tell you that it is just like a person who knows there is no water in mirage has to explain to the one who sees water in a mirage by pointing towards that water, what you see there is not water, but it's a mirage. So when a person needs to explain it, he has to use the word that water which you see. That when you see, then that word is, when that methodology is used, it is with the knowledge there is no water. But at the same time, he has to use that the water which is being seen. He also seeing the water in us, but he knows it is not water. But the other person knows it is, thinks it's water, knows it's as water, and need to be told that it is a mirage which is giving a free feeling of water, not a reality. So there is no two state there. There is only that appearance of water which is called the mirage. There is only paramarthika there. But it has to be explained from the appearance point of view to the other person who is seeing it as appearance. Like the person who is seeing the saguna. The saguna is not there, but the saguna is what your indriyas are showing to you. You see blue, yellow, white, orange, red, all the colors are there. Blue, sweet, sour, salty, all tastes are there. Forms are there. So everything is saguna for you when you are transactional through the sense organs. But at the same time, when it is told that it is nothing but consciousness or awareness in which you are able to see this. They are appearances in awareness, but blue is blue, known as blue from the transactional point of view, but in reality, the awareness is what makes it blue, not the blue by se, or the sweet per se, like that. So in the transactional point of view, Saguna is there, but in reality, the Saguna has no independent existence. It's a dependent existence. If you don't have consciousness or awareness, there will not be blue or sweet or colors and forms or anything like that, sound, anything, nothing. That's what happens to our deep sleep. Or we
Yes.
when we are in coma. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
that's beautiful the way that you've put it. And so if we look to the Upanishads and speak of Mandukya, you will acknowledge then that there is only Turiya.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's beautiful. So there you go, Srini. Thanks, Bindo. That was wonderful.
Thank you, Patrick. Sriya also agrees that he has no problem in knowing that and agreeing to
We've
that.
just got a nice dialogue going on about this in terms of, just trying to bridge the chasm with language, and the words become stumbling blocks, so people take the notion of Saguna as some, fundamental. Yeah, it becomes awkward because you bring in the notion of space time when we say in, but it's really just it's a way of understanding it. But it's nice.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Srini.
Thank you, Srini.
Namaste, Vindaji. Hi, Patrick. Yeah, totally agree. There is nothing to disagree. And also, I appreciate this chapter, the importance. Actually, there have been many cases when you dealt many Upanishads. You brought out, especially remember Prashnopanishad, and where we thought, this chapter is generally, we just brush through it. The important things are either later or front, but I remember, I think it was third chapter or fourth chapter of Prashna Upanishad where you brought the beauty of it. And similarly, this fourth chapter, the way you are dealing with it is really awesome. Actually, today's session has whetted the appetite, so maybe you should take tomorrow and day after also continuously. We can't
Don't
wait
lose the
till
momentum.
Monday.
Yeah, don't lose the momentum.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Vinod. I just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you, Srini.
Srini has more of a technical, the Sanskrit and more of a technical mind than I do. And so we had a discussion yesterday, and we were talking about action and inaction and trying to, bridge that gap in terms of language. And my comment to Srini was, then how do you reconcile the statement Jivo Brahmeva Napara? That, if there's no action in Brahman, and Brahman is not the doer, how do you reconcile the comment that Shankara makes there with Jivo Brahmeva Napara? So Srini, can you just tell, because I don't understand the Sanskrit like you do, Srini, could you tell Bindo what you said, and then I want Bindo to hear what you said, and then have him explain it to me in a different way.
Yeah, I think this is the one you are referring to. So when we say Jivo Brahma Eva Naparaha or Jiva Brahma Aikya, we are essentially talking about the Pratyagatma of the Jiva, right? Or it's not the name like Srinivas or his like Jiva. So what Jiva exactly means in this context? So I was arguing with Patrick that in this context, the word Jiva should mean the Pratyagatma. So I think that was the context, Binduji. Patrick, I hope that was the thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So Bindo, what does he mean by that, and how do you interpret and reconcile this?
Yeah, that is exactly what Mandukya said, no? The seventh mantra. Nanda pratnya navahi pratnya veda pratnyam. So toward the end it says, Sa Atma Sa Vitneyaha. That is the Atma which we all should know. That is our true nature. So which we have to say that from the Taittiriya point of view, when we do the Panchakosha Viveka, neither we are the Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, but the one beyond that. Or in the other word which I always say, Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, beyond that, Tebhyo Vilakshana Sakshi, the witness beyond all of them. That is the reality even in the Jiva. But that Jiva is not different or specific to one body. Just like a space is not specific to one jar or another jar or a house or a hospital. It is in the space they all appear. So when I say the space of the jar is not the space of the jar, it is the space of the cosmos. It is not wrong. Because there is no way you can say that the space of the jar is not that of the cosmic jar, cosmic space. Or the water droplet of a water and that of an ocean. We differentiate because of the size and the shape. But when you look at from the point of view of the water in the ocean and the water in the droplet are not different. That is why the Jivo Brahmaiva Navara. That is the non-differential entity which is the reality between the drop of water and the ocean. The space in a jar and the space in the cosmos. Like that, we have to understand that the awareness or the intelligence or the consciousness which is pulsating in you, me, Srini and everyone here or everywhere, anywhere else is not different from the consciousness from which the entire world has come into existence. It is from consciousness the world has come into existence. And that consciousness cannot be divisible, divided or made divisible to individual things. On the contrary, the individual things appear to be inside that consciousness, claiming to have specific consciousness. That becomes the ego related to the body. And when you are free from the egoistic level, identifying yourself with that awareness or the consciousness of our true nature, that time there is no my consciousness, your consciousness, or we cannot say that the consciousness is yours or mine. There is only one consciousness. That is why Jivo Brahmaiva Navara.
Yeah, okay. So I understand that, but and it's getting late for you, so I don't want to belabor it, so we can continue this discussion with Srini maybe at another time. But there's more, I think, there that we should discuss. But thank you so much for taking the time and allowing me.
But my advice to all of you, Patrick, my advice to you and all of you here is that internalize the teachings. We are talking at that book, Gita or Upanishad is not talking about X, Y, Z. It is talking to each one of us, to our true nature, which is our identity to be. But we identify with the limitation of the body, mind, intellect and say that I am the individual. No, you are not an individual. You are an individual appearing in the total consciousness. Don't have the ego that you are an individual. The moment you have that individuality consciousness, you are limiting your potential, your capability and your own true nature. Understand that Tad Tvamasi, you are that Brahman which is everyone is present in it. There is no your, mine or anybody's Brahman. Brahman is only one and the same. That has to be internalized. And that should be the anger with which we should be living our every moment, Pratibodha Viditam. Then only we can reach the Amrutatvam, the liberation and the freedom and the eternity. If we don't go by that, but negate or differentiate and then argue on that, you're losing the whole purpose of studying these book, Upanishads and Gita, etc. Make it your own. We are talking about ourselves. The Upanishad is talking to me, you at the same time, telling both you and me are not different. Ekameva Dvitiyam. There is only one, that non-dual Brahman, which is you, which is me, which is anybody in this world. Hari Om. Prakash, you can wind up.
Yes, thank you, Bindoji. Thank you. So tomorrow, Sunday, we'll reconvene at 8:30 p.m. IST for an Advaita open discussion, and Patrick and Srini can continue the topic there, I think. A very wonderful discussion. And we'll restart Bhagavad Gita on Monday, 8:30 p.m. IST. Again,
Yes.
the replays, if you want to do the Shravana Manana, are available either in the links shared in the chat or in the Clubhouse replays. As always, heartfelt thank you, Binduji. Over to you to close the room.
Thank you, Prakash, for your wonderful moderation and holding on to this. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Srini, for your contributions for the questions. And thank you all for patiently listening. And thank you once more.
Prakash,
See you
thank
on
you so
Sunday for
much.
General Day.
Prakash,
Yep.
thank you so much. You've always been such a beautiful influence here in Clubhouse, and Bindu's new sidekick. It's just wonderful how, I mean, you're at the stage in life where you can do this, but it's you balance it out so nicely and provide the context and framework to allow Bindu to do this. So pranams.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Prakash. Thank you all. Hari Om. Good night.
And he's so brilliant on his own right.
I just wanted to say,
Go ahead,
it is a privilege to do this, Binduji. So this is a very profound, pedagogical shift. Because both as a student, and as a teacher, we all have something to learn from this, what you're offering here. One as a student, obviously, because we are learning. And second, the transformation into a way to a teacher who can teach this. Because this is the path, right? So, and I think all people whom we have interacted with in Clubhouse, we all come with different intentions. But when they are sharpened into this space of learning, where you're a student or a teacher, I think you're doing an excellent job, Binduji. And I think everyone else, Patrick, Srini, and Venkatji, and many others, Deep, we have wonderful discussions, Madhir. So I take this opportunity to thank everyone, but especially Binduji, for holding the space of wonderful elaboration of how one can look at all these, that what we think is religious texts, but are deep learning spaces where we don't engage with this intensity in spite of being an online platform, the ability of your continuous holding space. I think, pranams to you, Binduji. Pranams.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Patrick, for bringing out this. Hari Om. Good night.